Hi, so the purpose of this video is to demonstrate why even with two-factor authentication the current modes of protecting our applications is ineffective and new approaches need to be adopted. But as I say, the purpose of this particular video is just to demonstrate the vulnerability and the ease with which we can overcome authentication challenges even with 2FA. So I'm not going to bother showing absolutely everything, but to sort of illustrate the ease, the availability of these techniques. Take for Red, I've set up a domain. That domain is sort of irrelevant other than when you want to trick users. So you want it to then look as close to the target application as possible, but for these purposes it's sort of irrelevant. So I've got a domain I've registered, phishing.co.uk. It's very imaginative, I know. Not going to show you any more of that. In addition to that, I need somewhere to run the tools, the server and tooling that I would need to aid my phishing attack I'm about to demonstrate. So all I need so far: domain name, place to run a server. I'm running it currently on Azure. You can see my LinkedIn account, which I've set up with a temporary password and two-factor auth turned on. I'm currently not logged in. So with that in mind, we will now go here, and what we're going to do is say yours get for this. Okay, so I have a domain, phishsec.co.uk, as I mentioned, and like I said, we can make that look more compelling, but for the moment it's sort of unnecessary. So I will imagine with me that this is a good looking URL, one that would be likely to fool. Some unwitting person has clicked on this, and they go ahead and they put their details in, and I'm going to grab the temporary password that I mentioned earlier, and they sign in. As you can see, there's lots of activity over here, and I'm being presented with my two-factor authentication, previously believed to be the panacea. So let's see whether it is. 86129, and as far as I'm concerned, ordinarily, attackers find it amusing to do things like what's called rickrolling after you've actually authenticated, possibly redirecting you somewhere else for misdirection. That could be anywhere, a Rick Astley YouTube clip, or Google for that matter. But the important point is that I am done with this part, so let's say we don't care about them anymore. They're gone. As far as we're concerned, back as the attacker, I click LinkedIn, and obviously I am still not authenticated. So I am going to have a look what I've actually captured, and I can see, if I expand a little bit, I can see that I've gone to LinkedIn, a user has put their username and password, and I've also captured tokens. So that is interesting, very interesting indeed. So I'm going to get some details, and what I'm interested in actually funny enough, even though if we went through here, you'd see that I'd also captured the two-factor auth token, but it's sort of irrelevant. The bit I'm interested in is this. So with this, I'm going to come back to LinkedIn and just show you that I'm still not authenticated. And I am going to use a tool, edit cookie editor. But again, there are many of those. That's sort of incidental. And what's not incidental are these details. So I'm going to say, give us a name of AT. Obviously, this can be done automatically, but I want to demonstrate what we're actually looking at. So I'm going to take the value of the cookie, which is providing me my auth token, and you'll also note that I'm putting in the expected correct domain. And the only other interesting thing is that we would have had to set, it's not that interesting actually, HTTP only. So with that, I'm going to say, okay, give that cookie. And I'm going to go to LinkedIn, and obviously I'm the attacker. Not ideal that this is the outcome. And you know, I've now got unfettered access. Of course I do, because as far as this session goes, I am Darren Schwartz. In fact, I am Darren Schwartz. But point being is that if I wasn't, and I had done this to Darren Schwartz would know nothing about this attack. But if he did, Darren Schwartz would be pretty unhappy. So there you go. We can see that two-factor auth, although it's not completely ineffective, it's for a financial application, something that might attract a determined attacker. Two-factor auth is no longer adequate. There are obviously things that can be done to mitigate certain issues, certain aspects of this type of attack, but they can all be overcome ultimately because we have control of the traffic, and even with using things like what are termed in this world fishlets, basically injection of JavaScript. That plus the power of the proxy means that we can pretty much overcome anything that a company or a software vendor would do to mitigate this type of attack. And that's it. Like I said, this is just to demonstrate the issue that we face with two-factor auth. We are just working on completion, and we'll present an approach that we can take to offer our customers the next level, a next generation of security approach that does actually 100% mitigate this type of phishing attack.